Gutierrez and Peter Lovenkrantz. Graham Taylor is alongside me here at Villa Park this afternoon. Graham, Newcastle no doubt be keen to banish their memories of a couple of years ago, but a big match for Aston Villa as well.
It's a very big game for Aston Villa. I mean, the teams below them have all lost, and if they can get their win now, then it will ease some pressure on them. So it really is a very, very important game for Villa. The interesting thing, as you said earlier there, Sam, Colaccini is lining up in midfield with Barton for Newcastle United.
How big a loss is it for Newcastle that Kevin Nolan's going to be out for a couple of games now?
Well, I think that is a loss, because Nolan has done extremely well in the role that he plays. He's a hard-working man, but he's capable of coming in with the goals at the other end. So I think that Kevin Nolan's absence is something that Newcastle will probably have a problem to actually really fill in the same manner.
Aston Villa 16th at the start of play. 3 points today, they'd be up to 14th, on to 37, one behind Fulham, Stoke and Sunderland. Newcastle in 9th place, looking for a top 10 finish in the Premier League for the first time in 5 years. Newcastle will kick off all in white. Aston Villa, claret and blue shirts, white shorts and claret socks. It is Niall Ranger standing near the ball with Peter Lovenkrantz, who will get the game underway. The referee, by the way, is Stuart Atwell, who showed a nice round dozen yellow cards at a Newcastle match earlier this season. Their fractious match at Molineux against Wolves back in September. And Newcastle kick off. Newcastle kicking from left to right. They are kicking towards the Holt end of the ground during the first half as the sun shines brightly here at Villa Park. They tried to get the fans behind the home team here, because Villa really struggled in their last home match, beaten here by Wolves just 2 or 3 weeks ago. They recorded a chant, a fan song, which was voted the most popular on a Facebook campaign. It was all set up by the fans, and the club have actually produced a new recording of this song, which they played when the teams came out. But typically the fans are noisy, but they decided to sing something else entirely. So something faintly predictable about that. Ball up in the air, Jean de Macoun heading it forward, and it should be there for Enrique. He just dinks it over the head of Downing, but he can't get the ball clear very far. And Villa in possession on the right hand side with Kyle Walker. Seems to have settled in very well on his loan spell from Tottenham Hotspur, but Newcastle clear it down the left hand side. I suppose important here, as much as anything from the home side's point of view, Graham, that they get out of the traps fairly quickly here.
They certainly have to do that, and I think, you know, with the supporters, as they always are at the start of a game, they're with you, they want to see what you're about, and if you can then become very positive, aggressive in the right way, and look as if you've every intention of coming out here to get the 3 points, this crowd will get behind you.
A lot of space for Luke Young on the near side, the natural right back playing on the left for Aston Villa, but the pass by Macoun is too long or too fast for Ashley Young, and it skids out of play just below us here, midway inside the Newcastle half of the field. Danny Simpson, who made his loan move permanent from Manchester United midway through the season, takes the throw in. Couple of scores coming in from the Super League: Castleford 12, Salford 10 and Wakefield 16, Harlequins 0. They are latest scores from Rugby League Super League, and Villa in possession, but Simpson there snapping into the tackle, doing well to get the ball off Ashley Young. Niall Ranger goes down, looks for a free kick, but Newcastle are still in possession as Simpson tries to flick it down the right wing. Ashley Young gets in the way, and the ball just bounces off Ashley Young, but Newcastle with the throw in, 15 yards or so short of the halfway line here. Gerard Houllier, Villa's manager, out in the technical area, standing alongside Alan Pardew, the Newcastle manager. Houllier setting a target of 10 points from Villa's last 7 matches of the season, and his team have got a corner here, because Stephen Taylor, with his goalkeeper advancing, actually just headed the ball behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, there was a little bit of misunderstanding there, because they should never have given the corner away, and Newcastle will be hoping that they don't pay for that.
Well, Taylor's had a few problems in matches against Villa before. He was one of the 3 players sent off on the Kieran Dyer Lee Bowyer day 6 years ago. As the corner comes in, it's punched up into the air by Harper, not terribly convincingly. It breaks loose, shot drilled in from 35 yards by Petrov, and the deflection sends the ball scudding all the way to the halfway line. And Luke Young, his high ball away to the right hand side, collected by the orange booted Downing. His cross in is headed away by Taylor. Villa collect the pieces again with Kyle Walker. He's under pressure from Niall Ranger. This is 5 Live Sport. We're live at Villa Park, the Barclays Premier League. Aston Villa loitering just above the relegation zone, just 2 points clear of it at the start of play, at home to Newcastle United, who are somewhat better off in the top half of the table, as Colaccini sends the ball high and long down the left wing, but it bounces out of play, and it will be an Aston Villa throw-in. A reminder, if you've just tuned in, if you've been out for the afternoon, that Arsenal won 3-1 at Blackpool in the early kick-off, while in the SPL, Rangers were 1-0 winners at Hamilton, and that means that Celtic's lead at the top over Rangers has now been reduced to 2 points. They've both played the same number of games. Villa try and push forward, but the ball goes sailing harmlessly out of play.
Yeah, Bent is playing the furthest forward, as one would expect for Villa, and they look to get the ball, but in and around him, dropping off now and again, is Agbonlahor, who we all know has got fantastic pace. What I would say about both players, though, neither of them are the best at holding the ball up. So it'll be very interesting just to see how much problems they can give Newcastle.
Peter Lovenkrantz goes chasing away down towards the left-hand corner flag. Newcastle into the Villa penalty area for the first time in the match, but immediately the ball is dispatched out of play on the far side of the field by James Collins here, with 4.5 minutes played at Villa Park. 0-0 between Aston Villa and Newcastle United. Newcastle with the throw, not quite level with the edge of the Aston Villa penalty area on the Newcastle left. It's collected by Joey Barton. And now Jose Enrique loses possession as Downing sends it forward. It'll be a long chase for Darren Bent, a chase he's prepared to make, but he'll never get there. 5 goals in 9 matches for Villa since his move from Sunderland. I mean, he's done what it said on the tin, hasn't he, so far?
Well, there you are. I mean, if you're scoring 1 every 2 games, nobody's going to argue with that at all. He has to get the chances in the box. That's very important for him, because he's not going to volley one in from 30 yards. Having said that, he'll probably do that in today's game, but he doesn't. He's a 6-yard merchant. Tap-ins.
Not directly linked, of course, but Sunderland haven't had the best of times since his departure. I think they won their first match after he left, and they haven't won since. Ball with Luke Young for Aston Villa in the middle of their defence, and he sends it right-footed away and out of play over on the far side. Agbonlahor was the nearest player to it. Graham, you mentioned him just a minute or so ago. He's had a season to forget, hasn't he? I mean, he's had some injuries, but he's only scored a couple of goals.
He has, yeah. I mean, everything talks about his pace, and he has that. Looking at him, I think he's a bit difficult to partner up with. I think he's a player that.
Ashley Young just sending the ball into the penalty area, but it was just spinning away from Luke Young as he raced through wide of the goal, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think he's a player that has, some individual threat. I don't think he's the easiest player to partner, and I don't think he's the best at that. I mean, if you are going to play someone on his own up front, I think you're as best playing Agbonlahor. When you try to part them off, I don't think he has an appreciation of the runs of his partner.
So is that why Gerard Houllier has been playing him on the left-hand side at times, because he's not quite sure what to do with him?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I can't speak for Gerard, but that's my view of Gabby, that he sometimes is better on his own.
Well, I must say Villa have had most of the possession here in the opening minutes of this match. Nearly 7 minutes played here at Villa Park on 5 Live Sport. It's 0-0 between Aston Villa and Newcastle United. Newcastle just finding their feet. They haven't got a bad record away from St James's this season. 5 wins on the road, and they enjoyed a magnificent victory over Villa in their first home game back in August. 6-0 winners on a Sunday afternoon. A Sunday afternoon for Villa fans to forget, but a great return to the Premier League for Newcastle that day in front of the St James's Park faithful. Villa with the throw, left-hand side, taken by Luke Young up to the halfway line, and Danny Guthrie sends the ball forward. Now Barton infield to Gutierrez, takes the return ball. Barton with time to look up, floats the ball towards the far post. Niall Rangers there, it bounces invitingly inside the 6-yard box, but Lovenkrantz was well marshalled there by Collins and Dunn.
Yes, he handled that well, but Barton, who put the ball in, that's what he will do. He's not going to go round people, attempt to take them on. When he gets the ball and he's got a chance to put the ball in the box, he'll do that, and he is quite accurate at it.
Ashley Young with a long ball forward through the centre. Petrov chased it, but it bounced straight into the arms of Steve Harper, the Newcastle goalkeeper. Harper standing in the shade, half the pitch in shade and half in sunshine at the moment. Half the fans on the far side sitting there with their hands shielding their eyes from the sun. What a nice problem to have. Ball bouncing around just outside the Villa penalty area. They've got a free kick, which McCoon takes. To his right, to Kyle Walker, the Villa right back, playing in the sunshine in the first half. It'll be shade for him in the second. Downing has it, having made his first start for England for the for a couple of years in the last match against Ghana last week. Ball worked to the left-hand side, and Luke Young, shaven-headed figure, goes short to Ashley Young, and then via Petrov it's to James Collins and Shonda Makoun. Makoun now with a ball over the top of the defence. Downing chases after it, just got a toe on it, but Harper was out, and it wasn't far away from being an excellent pass.
I think Harper was a very lucky man there, because he came out for a ball that he would never have reached if Downing had got it.
Newcastle attack now. Nile Ranger tries a shot from just outside the penalty area. It was Gutierrez who broke away on the left-hand side. Villa's defence cope with it though. They get it clear towards the centre circle, and Petrov now flicks it up towards Ashley Young, but Danny Simpson steps in. The ball bounces on the far side. Jose Enrique doesn't take any chances. He was aware that Makoun was right behind him, but he knocks it out of play on the halfway line. Petrov then runs into Danny Guthrie, and it will be an Aston Villa free kick just to the right of the centre circle on that halfway line.
Ashley Young wandering in from the left flank now and again, swapped a little bit with Agbonlahor, but it's been very interesting to see how Ashley Young performs, because I mean he's been given great credit for his international performances, and you have to deliver for your club as well. That's very, very important.
Joey Barton's got it for Newcastle. A reminder there in their change strip today, all in white. Ball just rolls out of play in front of us here. We're midway inside the Newcastle half. Danny Simpson, the big black number 12 on his back, prepares to take the throw in. Throw now down the right-hand touchline. Luke Young gets a little tangled up with Nile Ranger, but no foul. It's a Newcastle throw right in front of their manager, and Joey Barton decides to leave it for Simpson. Barton, of course, no stranger to controversy, involved in a little more this week, just for a change. An interview with a French football magazine in which he, I don't know whether you heard about that, Graham, he basically dissed most of the other midfielders, English midfielders in the Premier League, and suggested he was better than all of them.
I heard about that, and I know I'm probably being it. I'd like to be there when he actually says it and how it's translated, and I take these things with a bit of a pinch of salt now and again. Not helped him, of course, but I'm not so certain. I can't be certain in my own mind that is word for word.
Well, it was quite a collection of quotes as Harper clears the ball high, deep inside the Villa half. Dunn going up with Nile Ranger. The ball bouncing off the pair of them and all the way back to the yellow-shirted figure of Brad Friedel in the Villa goal. Villa with just one win from their last 7 in the league. And for all that they've had more of the possession here in the opening 11 minutes of the game, they haven't created anything yet. Haven't really tested Steve Harper in the Newcastle goal.
I think it's quite a scrappy game, to tell you the truth, really. There's not been a lot of controlled play by either side, looking to get the ball forward very early, very quickly as well, but not keeping possession.
Newcastle have got the ball with Jose Enrique on the left-hand side. Long ball down the left wing. Ranger will be prepared to chase. It should be Collins' ball. He slides in, makes the tackle. Collins, as all defenders do, claims that it took a deflection off the striker, but it is a Newcastle throw. Just a few yards from the corner flag. On the left-hand side here, Newcastle last one at Villa Park 5 years ago, a 2-1 victory. The record against Villa in recent years, not too bad at all. Goalless here at the moment, but Newcastle on the attack. Colaccini to the right-hand side to Simpson, just outside the area. His cross is comfortable for Friedel, though. Ranger was coming in just behind the Villa goalkeeper at the far post, but it was a comfortable catch for the American, and Villa move forward, the ball having been bowled out by their goalkeeper. Short little ball by Makoun, just moving it on to the near side to Luke Young. He's midway inside the Newcastle half. The pass along the grass into the centre to Petrov. The one change in the Villa team today, coming back into the side. Villa using the full width of the field, away to the right now, and Kyle Walker looking to use his pace up against Gutierrez. Walker gets to the byline. The cross takes a little deflection, and it goes behind, and the home side have a corner.
There's no doubt about it. The pace and strength of Walker when he's coming forward is a very big asset for Villa, as it is for any team when he comes in. He likes to get forward, he's prepared to come forward, and if he does get those overlapping runs in, then he can be a threat.
Downing will take this corner on the Aston Villa right, left-footed in-swing. In it comes, and it's headed away to the edge of the penalty area to Gutierrez. It was Stephen Taylor who got his head on the ball. Now Danny Guthrie takes it down the left-hand side in the sunshine, just over the halfway line, into the Villa half of the field. He's got Gutierrez to his left. The pass forward finds Gutierrez, who crosses in towards the centre. Firm header away by Luke Young, only as far as Danny Guthrie once again. Downing has got back, but Newcastle finding their feet in this match a little bit more now, with 13 minutes played, 0-0 on 5 Live. the Barclays Premier League. Ball played forward now. Jose Enrique with a dangerous cross into the heart of the penalty area, and it's headed over the top from the right-hand angle of the 6-yard box by Joey Barton, who was unmarked.
Well, he chose to come in early and, get it with his head, dive and head it. I'm not going to disagree. He's better view of it than myself. But my initial reaction was that, could he take it on his chest? Should he have taken it on his chest, because he had the time to control it and then get his effort in with his foot and have a shot? He chose to get the head, wasn't able to get direction on it, but for me that was a scoring opportunity.
Yeah, first chance of the match there, Graham, falling to Joey Barton. We've got half-time at Castleford in the Super League. Dave Woods.
Extraordinary stuff from Castleford. They lead by 30 points to 10 at half-time. They were trailing 10-6 with 12 minutes of the half remaining, but 4 tries in those last 12 minutes. Dixon, Mathers, Arundel and Youngquest has put them in complete control. 30-10 they lead here. The other game, Wakefield 26, Harlequin 6 at half-time as well.
Thanks, Dave. Here at Villa Park, it's goalless, and Aston Villa have got a throw-in on the left-hand side into Jean de Macoun, taken by Luke Young. Macoun's pass is not a good one. He was looking for Petrov. Ranger just whipped in front of the Bulgarian, and Petrov fouls him. What do they call that, Graham? Tactical foul? Give away a free kick?
I'm not about the word tactical, but I know exactly what you're talking. Just hold up play, deliberate foul. And, I'm not one that looks for yellow cards and red cards, but I think there are certain things, all right, didn't hurt, but pull the person back deliberately to stop play.
It wasn't a bad foul, but it was a cynical little piece of play, wasn't it, from the Bulgarian?
Yeah. I want to just say about Joey Barton's comments, that I did make a thing about that. What I would say, I think both Gerrard and Lampard would have scored from that position. So that's just.
I think you're probably right there. I think Gareth Barry might have had a shout as well. Ashley Young on the left-hand side for Aston Villa. Barton has a little shout for handball there against Ashley Young, but nothing doing. And Luke Young with a square ball infield, still 10 yards short of the halfway line. Petrov looks up to see where Ashley Young is. He finds Agbonlahor, who's come deeper. Referee Stuart Atwell just sidesteps, brings himself out of the way. Petrov again can't find the pass he's looking for. Luke Young down the left-hand side, but it's hopeful more than anything else, and Villa are not finding the passes to their wide men so far in the opening 20 minutes.
It was very tight there. Luke Young then tried to get out of that tight position by releasing an early ball for Ashley Young to chase. It had been far better bringing it back onto his right foot and going across, maintaining possession. The point I was making earlier, neither side has yet maintained consistent possession of the ball for any long periods of time.
Interesting quote from Alan Pardew, the Newcastle manager, ahead of the match, saying that one of the last things he'd tell his team before they came out was to constantly keep an eye on Darren Bent, because there will be periods in the game when you'll forget that he's even playing, and then suddenly he'll have scored 2 goals in the space of 5 minutes. And having seen the fact that Bent's not been involved very much so far, it just brought that quote to mind, actually.
It's absolutely right.
Villa in possession with Petrov in midfield. To his left, it's Luke Young now. Young's got about 10 yards of space all around him. Rolls it forward towards Ashley Young, who hasn't had much space so far. He's faced by Simpson. Barton's nearby as well. First chance for Ashley Young to take on the defence. Back to Luke Young. Curls across into the penalty area. Downing was coming in beyond that far post, but the ball just curls behind the byline, beyond the post, and it's a goal kick to Newcastle.
That was good defending actually by Enrique, the left back. He could have dealt with it, could have conceded a corner, but was aware of position, was aware of where Downing was coming from behind him, and let it run out. Now it looks simple enough, but to me that's art of good defending, knowing where your opponent is, knowing the angle of the ball, whether you deal with it or whether you let it go, and he did very well there.
Harper takes the kick. It's met by the head of James Collins, flicked on by Petrov. Ball high in the air over the halfway line, bounces down in the centre circle. Bent having quite a tussle there with Mike Williamson. Williamson wins out. The ball is again in the air. This time Richard Dunn heads it forward. Guthrie goes in with Jean de Macoun in the centre circle. Barton claims a handball there against Petrov, but it's not given, and Villa perhaps with a chance to break down the left-hand side. I think Ashley Young saw a challenge from Simpson coming in and just lifted his body over it. It's an Aston Villa throw on their left, which Petrov leaves for Luke Young. Petrov looks a little frustrated here in the early stages of this match, but he's had a frustrating season. The captain of the club, and finding himself out of the starting 11 for much of the time under Gerard Houllier. Back in for this one though. What do you make of Macoun, who's just been in possession there, the signing in the January window from Olympique Lyonnais, Graham?
He's what I would call a continuity player. He makes himself available for the ball and then he gives it one or two touches. He's there to link play together. He does that very well, but on occasions he disappears from the game. You don't always see him. But I think that's what he is. I think that's the role that he plays quite well.
Newcastle have got a player down in the left full-back position after a challenge. It was Gutierrez who's down. He just picks himself up, holding his right hip. Got a little bit caught up with Stuart Downing. Downing thought he was fouled, but Stuart Atwell said no. Gutierrez is okay. He's limping a bit, but he'll be absolutely fine. 0-0 here between Aston Villa and Newcastle United. A reminder that earlier on, Blackpool 1, Arsenal 3. And in Scotland, Hamilton 0, Rangers 1. Rangers now just 2 points behind Celtic at the top of the SPL. Ashley Young in possession for Aston Villa in the shade. Tries to roll it forward towards Darren Bent, but it's not quite happening in that final third for Villa so far. And Newcastle break free over the halfway line with Gutierrez. Ranger slips over to his left, but he's picked himself up now. He's away from Carl Walker. It's Niall Ranger, and it's a low save diving to his left by Brad Friedel. But Lovenkrantz was free on the edge of the 6-yard box.
It certainly was, and they'd missed him a long time. You know, straight head up, have a look, play, and he, for me, couldn't miss then. So even though he tried to bend it round Brad Friedel in the goal, the better option was to put it square.
Darren Bent with a flicked header on towards Agbon Lahore. Haven't seen much of either of Villa's front two so far in the match, and Newcastle improving as the first half wears on now with nearly 20 minutes play. They're showing a little bit of invention here as they come forward, some fluidity as well as the ball is into the heart of the penalty area, plucked from the air by Friedel. Again, Lovenkrantz was lurking just in case anything fell his way, but safe hands from Villa's goalkeeper, and Villa try and pass their way from back to front. Petrov now just short of the halfway line, rolling it forward towards Agbon Lahore. Villa getting bogged down a little bit in this match. There's not much space for them out there, and they're struggling to pick a pass as Downing nearly threads it through towards Bent tussling with Taylor and Williamson, but the ball goes back to Harper in the Newcastle goal.
Yeah, you're certainly right. I mean, Newcastle, as the game has progressed, Newcastle have come on 2 or 3 occasions and been quite lively and created.
They look the more likely side to score,
certainly,
don't they?
You know, creating opportunities as well.
Ball up to the edge of the Villa penalty area. Dunn and Collins getting in each other's way there. Villa look eminently capable of conceding actually in this game. They look far from watertight, but that's been the case throughout the season. Gutierrez on the halfway line, on the left for Newcastle. Down the left-hand side, the ball just a yard or two in from the touchline. And Niall Ranger tries a little back flick. He gets a second opportunity. A more simple pass into the centre to the mop-headed figure of Colaccini, who rolls it into the Villa penalty area. And with nobody around him at all, Richard Dunn just thumps it out of play over on the far side. A few words exchanged between some of the people in the crowd behind the goal and the Villa defence, and between Friedel and Dunn and Young. But Newcastle with the throw-in on the left-hand side, which is taken by Jose Enrique. He's midway inside the Villa half, goes back towards the halfway line, ball into the middle of the field via Danny Guthrie to Simpson on the right. Simpson with a little bit of space, now a chance to run at Luke Young. He's almost level with the edge of the penalty area. Joey Barton makes himself available, dinks it into Niall Ranger. Ranger looked to be going to ground even before Richard Dunn challenged him. It's out to Colaccini into the box. Simpson continues his run, but in controlling the ball, he merely set up Richard Dunn with a chance to clear it. But Newcastle picking up all the pieces here. Good spell this for Newcastle in the match. Simpson on the right hand side, low cross to the edge of the 6-yard box. It's cleared away by James Collins, headed on by Ashley Young in the left full back position. Agbon Lahore there tries to get away from Guthrie. Oh, it was a cynical foul there by Mike Williamson. That was a poor piece of play from the Newcastle defender, because Agbon Lahore would have been away, and Stuart Atwell there had no choice but to reach for his cards and show a yellow one for Williamson. I mean, that was as clear as day there, that Williamson knew that it was his only chance of stopping Agbon Lahore.
Well, absolutely right. Referee saw it, quite right to caution Williamson as well. But just at the moment, Agbon Lahore would have been away. It would have been still some distance for him to go, because it's only 4 or 5 yards.
It certainly wasn't a clear goal-scoring opportunity, was it?
No.
We've reached the midway point of the first half. Aston Villa 0, Newcastle United 0, and taking you through to half-time, Alan Green.
A Villa free kick headed away from the edge of the Newcastle penalty area, drops to McCoon, centre of the Newcastle half. Played towards this near touchline, and Ashley Young brought down by Barton, who, let's say, protests the decision of Stuart Atwell. I don't think he liked Ashley Young's involvement either. He thought that was a dive. I thought it was a free kick. Just a free kick.
Well, this is where Joey Barton doesn't help himself. The referee's given the free kick. Joey Barton thinks that Ashley Young has thrown himself down, made a meal of it, and wants to continue with it. There's no point in it. The free kick's being given.
He snarls and he's lippy, and the England team already has one or two more than needs of that variety. Villa free kick played on and headed into the net. James Collins with a wonderful header. Wonderful header after an excellent free kick by Ashley Young against the game, the flow of the game. It's Villa who take the lead, and Joey Barton immediately went to Stuart Atwell, the referee, still protesting about the award of the free kick.
Yeah, definitely. I watched Barton then, and to be fair to Atwell, he's given Barton every opportunity, and if he'd taken the yellow card out, it wouldn't have surprised me. He hasn't done so, but a very good goal there by Collins. Young put the free kick off his right foot from the left-hand side, flicked on. Collins came and got a very good touch to it. Aston Villa 1-0 up against Newcastle United.
24 years since Aston Villa were last relegated from the top division. They've been flirting with it with their form of late. Just 5 league wins in 25 games prior to this match. But a victory here, given that the bottom 4 in the division, Graham, were all lost this weekend, I think Villa will feel a lot better about themselves. I'm not sure they deserve to take the lead, though.
No, I'm not. No, I agree with that. I think that's probably their first effort at goal. And they've taken the lead, and it should help them. Holt End, all of the crowd will get in behind them, because everybody here in this part of the Midlands has been worrying about Villa.
Apart from Birmingham fans.
I was just going to say that, but I think they've got enough problems of their own, so in that sense, everybody's concentrating just on their club. From a personal point of view, I've got to be honest, I don't want to see a Midlands club get relegated, but I think that will happen.
Colaccini with a good ball forward. Lovenkrands, left edge of the Villa penalty area, being harassed by Collins. It's a deep pass back to Gutierrez on the far side of the field. Into Colaccini. Colaccini now. 20 yards inside the Villa half. Lots of white shirts in attacking positions here for Newcastle. And then that's a weak pass in. I think it was played by Enrique, and it's cleared by Villa. Newcastle all in white. Why? Where's the colour clash? Anyway, here's Darren Bent. Bent shoots a little selfishly. It hits the defender, Taylor, and it rebounds out of play for a throw-in on the far side.
I don't know about the strip.
Hadn't anything to do with
all I know
second strip, could it?
Yeah, it's a long time since I was a manager. But at that time, if you had a change away strip, you were allowed to wear it twice or something, or 3 times for commercial reasons. I don't know. Does it really matter?
No, probably not. We're past Christmas anyway, aren't we?
That's right.
And there'll be a new strip for next season, no doubt. Anyway, Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0 in this 5 Lives coverage of the Barclays Premier League. Here's Akbonlahor struggling to get into the game. So he certainly got into Williamson there in his slightly late challenge, and it's a free kick awarded by Stuart Atwell. It's a young referee I haven't seen a great deal of in the live sense. No. Occasionally on television, but not that have actually been inside the ground. Too far, okay. Nearly 27 minutes gone. A lovely afternoon in Birmingham, a lovely afternoon anywhere I would expect to in the UK today. Glorious, feels like summer. But it won't, the rain will be back soon. It's all the cold. Here's Ashley Young, back to Luke Young. And Barton's complaining again at the referee. Yeah, I tell you what, I know he's captain today, but if he keeps on barking like that, he will be booked.
Yeah.
Stuart Atwell just told him basically to shut up.
He's complaining that Ashley Young handled the ball, but he has really got to stop here.
On and on and on and on and on, Joey Barton. And now he's getting a right ticking off from Stuart Atwell, and you can't blame the referee.
Not at all. Not at all.
Anyway, Villa lead 1-0. Newcastle with a throw. Simpson takes it. Thought that ball might have crossed the touchline when it was played back to him, but play continues. Gutierrez back to Enrique, on to Gutierrez. The pass wasn't great to the fullback, and it should be cleared by Kyle Walker. It is into the crowd on the far side of the field in the sunshine. Throw in to Newcastle. 6-0 they beat Villa in August. That will have made them feel an awful lot better about their last meeting with Villa. You know, the day they were relegated 2 years ago.
Definitely, yeah.
But they won't be feeling too bright about this. Villa leading against the run of play. Guthrie, that's an awful pass. Straight out of play, well ahead of Simpson, and it's going to be a throw into Aston Villa.
I think it represents quite a lot of the game, that pass, Alan. I mean, from a personal point of view, yes, both teams are up for it, but the quality of play is not very good.
Here's Simpson just over the halfway line, kept the ball in play, and then Barton beaten by McCoon, and Guthrie dived in on Petrov there, and I think Stuart Atwell recognised that was flirting with a free kick, but Villa have the ball on the far side of the field. Downing on now to Walker, low cross in from the fullback, easily cleared on the half volley by Williamson, but Villa have it back. Walker once more down the right side, infield to Stuart Downing, back to McCoon 25-30 yards from goal maybe, on to Petrov into Downing checks it past one player, shoots, but couldn't keep the shot down. It's over the crossbar. Let's get an update from the Coliseum. Dave Woods.
Wakefield 30, Salford 16. A spark of a fight back here by Salford. Daniel Holdsworth tried just after the turnaround. He's converted it as well, but a long way back. It's Castleford 30, Salford 16.
Nearly half an hour played here on 5 Live. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0 earlier. Blackpool 1, Arsenal 3. Arsenal 7 points behind Manchester United now at the top of the Premier League with the game in hand. And in the SPL, Hamilton 0, Rangers 1. They reduced the deficit to Celtic to 2 points. Barton on the near side. On now to Ranger. Dunn has come across, trying to push, hustle Ranger wider than he is. The pass goes back to Barton, who's getting booed now by the Villa fans. Now Simpson, the right back. Cross-field ball to the left side to Gutierrez, back to Enrique. Once more, Newcastle seem largely in command, despite the fact they're a goal down. Gutierrez crosses from the left, right-footed. Ranger jumps. The header is away from the defender. Header forward by Guthrie. There was no push. Looked as if there might have been on McCoon. The clearance ran to Simpson. And Simpson, well played that by Agbonlahor, causing a problem for Simpson. And it's cleared upfield by Villa. But again, this temptation to strike the long ball, Graham, is very obvious.
Yeah,
and
they're very
usually
edgy.
they're too long.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they've not got that right at all. And they're very, very quick. It's still a bit edgy for me in terms of how they play. They need to get hold of the ball, control it ball, get it out to Ashley Young a little bit more.
Here's Simpson on his left foot, playing it towards Lovenkrantz. Collins, the goal scorer, allows the ball to bounce through to Brad Friedel. Has Friedel had a save tonight?
No, he hasn't.
No.
And the same at the other end.
Well,
really.
one. There's been one. Can't remember it much, but Rangers shot. Here's Agbonlahor to the left of the Newcastle penalty area. On his right foot, plays it back to Luke Young. Luke Young into Ashley Young. 30 yards out, shot is low, takes a deflection, and that's away and behind for a corner. Corner then to Aston Villa. It's a long way off there. Is the assistant on the far side wearing a cap? A black cap?
I'll tell you what, as you look at him from here, you would say yes, but
I'm not
I'd rather see him again
sure.
because the sun gives her a...
He's wearing a black cap.
Yeah.
That's a first for me. I've never seen one of the officials wearing a cap.
Keep the sun out of his eyes.
We'll not talk about that. Corner for Villa, played in, done with the header on, and it's blocked on the goal line by a combination of 3 Newcastle players, one of them the goalkeeper, and it's cleared towards the halfway line. It's lifted back into the penalty area, but it bounces harmlessly through to Harper.
Going on the cap, it's obviously for the sun, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Right in his eyes across there.
Yeah, but do you ever remember seeing that before?
I have to say, it does look
No, don't say what he looks like. I think we all get the impression of what he looks like. Anyway, we've got 12 minutes to go to half time here on 5 Live. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0. Here's Joey Barton, tackled by Downing. Downing and Ashley Young have switched flanks for the moment. Downing's down the left side, Young down the right. It's with Colaccini there in the midfield for Newcastle. Interesting to see him play there. Back to Simpson. And now Guthrie plays it to the far side. And Enrique. Gutierrez to his left. And it goes to Gutierrez. Touch back to Enrique. Enrique turns away from Ashley Young beats him again, this time on the inside again, and finally he's tackled by McCune. And then, no, not a foul challenge by Enrique on Ashley Young. He gets the cross in, but it's immediately smacked out of play by James Collins for a throw-in.
It's typical. They beat Ashley Young probably 3 times in the space of 15 seconds. Yeah, and he could have put the cross in on the first time.
He could have done. He's highly thought of, that left back. I know he's certainly been linked with Liverpool over the last couple of months. I think there's a contractual problem with him towards the end of the season for Newcastle. Throw to Newcastle United, 10 yards from the corner flag. It's Enrique who's going to take it to Lovenkrands. Back to Enrique, and the pass infield to Joey Barton. Barton now has Simpson to his right. In the shadow cast by the main stand. Across half the pitch here at Villa Park. Late in the afternoon. Ball back now to Colaccini. Simpson once more down the right side. And to Guthrie. Danny Guthrie then. Plays it forward, that's overhit that pass. Well ahead of Colaccini, and it goes through to Friedel, who bowls the ball out quickly to McCune. McCune's going to be tackled by Guthrie. The ball might break to Gutierrez. The referee brought it back for a foul on McCune. Again, I think he got that right.
He did. He looked to see if it was going to be an advantage. Yes. That's why he let it play on. When it wasn't an advantage, he immediately pulled play back. It was a fair decision.
I'm in danger of actually liking his shirt out well. No. Plenty of time to go in the game. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0. By the way, it's Hard. I think Hard Webb's the 4th official today.
He is, yes, definitely.
It was interesting. We've got a really good commentary position here at Villa Park, and Hard was on the near touchline an hour before kickoff. He's a big man, isn't he?
Definitely, we were saying that, wasn't he?
And he does look like a policeman.
We said that. You could see the policeman looking him.
You wouldn't argue with him. No. Anyway, here's Downing. Downing's pass was weak, intercepted by Williamson. And then Guthrie plays it forward, but Ranger is offside. And as a result, it's a free kick to Aston Villa. But again, it's scrappy. And also the crowd's quiet. 10 minutes to half time. Aston Villa lead Newcastle 1-0. An Ashley Young free kick that was headed in by James Collins. Good free kick, excellent header. Now Friedel hits the ball upfield. Little push in the back of Darren Bent there by Taylor. Taylor got away with it. And here's Barton, acting captain in the absence of the suspended Nolan. On to the right side to Ranger. Dunn did well to get across, and he shepherded the ball behind for a goal kick. That's good work.
Yeah, defended well there. I mean, the thing with Richard Dunn is that he is, in my view, a good defender, but he's capable of making the most incredible mistakes that you wouldn't associate with him, but you have to do now because they happen 2 or 3 times in a season, and there really are incredible mistakes that he makes. But generally speaking, he'll give a performance that sees you through the game. I don't know at times about his partnership with Collins. People say it's the best partnership. I'm a bit uneasy with it now and again.
9 minutes to half time here on 5 Live, the Barclays Premier League. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle 0. Dunn heads the ball back to Friedel. Didn't quite get it right, but there was no Newcastle player in attendance to cause any danger. And now it's with Collins. Collins just drifts the ball over the halfway line towards Agbonlahor, headed away by Taylor, and then Agbonlahor gets it again. Agbonlahor in towards Darren Bent. Williamson stabs the pass to safety to Guthrie. Good work by Guthrie on to Barton, but Barton loses the ball. Then Downing gets it past Simpson, and Downing has it in play, a couple of yards from the goal line, crosses from the left, and that was an opportunity for Darren Bent. His jump was poor, and his header was over the crossbar.
Yeah, I don't know whether he attacked it too early, whether he was aware the cross coming in. He got in too early and had to readjust himself, and way wide.
By the way, at half time here on 5 Live, we'll hear from Jens Lehmann in the Arsenal goal today for their 3-1 victory at Blackpool. We'll also hear from Ian Holloway. I hope no one's asking him what his view is on statues across the world. And we'll also cross to Augusta to preview the final round of the US Masters, with Rory McIlroy starting the day 4 shots clear of the field. Some opportunity for the 21-year-old. There's a foul on Barton by McCune. And once more, Atwell, right up with play. Not blowing his whistle stupidly, trying to play the advantage when he can, but he hasn't missed anything. Free kick is just on the edge of the centre circle, at least that's where Barton's placing the ball. And we've got 7 minutes to half time. Villa lead Newcastle 1-0. Barton very central with his free kick. Colaccini is up there. So too was Taylor into the penalty, or was Williamson actually, not Taylor. Either way, Williamson didn't control the resultant pass of the free kick, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Surprises me a little bit, that kind of free kick, when you have quite a few people up there and you've just got the one man Williamson that you know his attention is going to be paid to him, and that's the one that you try to pick out. Yeah, sometimes you'll win it, but you know, you're not giving yourself a second opportunity, because if he misses it, there's no one else there from your side to have a go at it.
Well, the other thing is the free kick was so central, Graham. You actually, if you're going to have Williamson up there, you'd rather play it in from a wide position.
Definitely.
Not just driving it forward. Anyway, this tepid fixture continues. It's not good. I'm afraid it's one of the more ordinary games I've seen this season. Aston Villa won't care because they're leading by a goal to nil, and a win would take them to 37 points. That's 5 away from the drop zone. They've got some awkward fixtures to come. They're still going to play Arsenal, still going to play Liverpool. I think that's the last 2 games. But, you know, if you win your home matches, then you will be safe. Here's McCunn, back to Dunn. Dunn clips it towards Agbonlahor, headed away by Williamson. Then Lovenkrantz heads it away from McCunn. Good pass forward by Barton. Lovenkrantz to Ranger. Collins got there ahead of him. Collins intercepted, and then it is played to Dunn. Dunn back to goalkeeper Friedel. That was good combination play by Collins and Dunn. Villa played the ball over the halfway line. Williamson heads it away to the far side. Headed on by Enrique to Gutierrez. Back to Enrique. Guthrie was available. Enrique doesn't need him. Running away from Ashley Young. Ashley Young may have been hurt there and making the challenge on Enrique. He stayed down. Play continues. Enrique's cross deep, looking for Ranger. Beyond every player in the penalty area and behind for a goal kick. And now we can see if Ashley Young is truly injured.
This is a part problem, really, isn't it? He's laid down. He hasn't moved. And there's a number of occasions by a number of players. I mean, it's something that has crept into the game over the last 4 or 5 years, worse than it ever has been, when it's very difficult to say sometimes whether a player is really injured or not, and you get a reputation, and whether Ashley likes it or not, he has that reputation that sometimes he goes down, he easily claims an injury, and then, you know, he's up and about. This time he does look.
Well, I must admit, I'm guilty of this, Graham, but there are certain players when they go down, and my automatic assumption is they're not injured.
That's right. Yeah.
I could mention a certain Chelsea player, plays for the Ivory Coast. I won't mention him by name, but you know what I mean. He goes down, you think, no, I don't know who that is. But you know, you automatically assume he's not injured, and you can get it wrong.
You can. That's the thing. He's limping off his Ashley Young now, and it's very difficult for the referees. Having said that, I'm still firmly of the belief that to stop play it should be the referee.
Yes.
I don't like this ball being kicked out and then claiming the ball back and everything, because it means that if you have cheated and gone down there when you're not injured, you actually can stop play and get the ball back. So I really think it's down to the referee whether play should be stopped for treatment for an injured player or not.
The producer has written me a note saying I'm being somewhat harsh on Solomon Kalou. You know my point. It's, and you can. There are too many of them. Let's face it. Ashley Young's going to be okay. 3 minutes to go to half time. His team leading 1-0. He just gets the signal from Stuart Atwell to come back onto the pitch, and he's near enough where the ball is, or at least he was. It's played forward by Gutierrez. Then there was a foul on Lovenkrantz. Free kick to Newcastle. Barton takes it. Finds Gutierrez. Enrique with a great run forward from left back. Pulls the cross in. It took a deflection off Kyle Walker, and it's behind for a corner.
Yeah, Kyle Walker's place there certainly rescued him. I know he's conceded the corner, but at one stage it looked as if he was completely beaten, and he has got that pace.
Joey Barton's going to take the corner kick for Newcastle in front of the Holt end here at Villa Park. 2.5 minutes to go to the half-time interval. Barton signals, crosses in there towards Williamson, headed away well by Villa, and then Gutierrez may have been caught. He's another one you're never quite convinced whether he's actually injured or not, and he's not. He was limping there for a second, and now he's limping again for effect. He'll be all right. Though there was a late challenge on him, and you know, the follow through from the shot, he might have took him into the defender. Ball played up towards Ranger, who hasn't done a great deal for Newcastle up front. The partnership with Lovencrantz isn't working, or not on this evidence. Inside the final 2 minutes of the first period. Petrov. Very quiet still in Petrov. On to McCoon. Downing. McCoon once more. McCoon approaching the penalty area from the left side. Tried to cross it low. Blocked by Simpson, and behind it goes for a corner.
Yeah, watching McCoon, as we were talking earlier, there he's looking for someone to show for him. He very rarely gives a pass more than 10 yards as well. He gets it, gives it. Very rare do you see him play a piercing pass or anything like that. He just, as I say, continuity player, keeps the play rolling.
Downing is going to take the corner for Aston Villa from the left side, from the shadow, played into the sunshine toward Dunn. Dunn went to meet it with Williamson. I think Williamson did really well, and it's cleared by Newcastle to the far side of the field. Towards their right, and Kyle Walker just lets it run out of play on the halfway line for a throw-in. 44 minutes have been played. The goal was scored in the 24th minute. James Collins' header from Ashley Young's free kick. The throw-in for Villa went beyond Darren Bent, but Bent gets the ball back. Newcastle careless. I'm not sure how many touches Bent has had in the game. He's almost been wholly ineffective, but it would be typical of him eventually to have just one touch and score a goal. Downing now down the left side. Downing plays it in low towards McCoon. McCoon with his back to the penalty area. Turns, he can shoot from here. Oh, that's a great ball forward, and Darren Bent is offside. I was just going to say, just proved me right there. One touch, one meaningful touch, and I thought he was going to score, but he was offside.
Yeah, whether he was aware he was offside or not, I don't know.
Good finish.
But how he finished is typical Bent. And that is the penalty area, man.
I tell you, that was very tight. Very, very tight. Anyway, the free kick has been awarded. It was the assistant on the far side whose flag went very quickly up. We're now into added time. Haven't seen Hardweb, the fourth official. Oh, here he comes now. We'll have the statutory. Oh, 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Oh, 2 minutes. That fools everybody. Normally it's a minute. Have a bit of fun with a minute, lads. Crossfield ball by Guthrie. Way ahead of Gutierrez, and out of play on the far side for a throw-in to Aston Villa, who, given the way they've been playing, must be quite happy with this.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking as we're coming to the half-time, Villa 1-0 up. Somewhat, I think, a little bit fortunately. In fact, Newcastle have been threatening, but what there hasn't been in the game, a lot of efforts at goal.
No, hardly any. Enrique, he clearly likes to attack, running forward. Then he ran into Kyle Walker, and Walker's passed back to his goalkeeper, Friedel. Friedel with the clearance towards the sunshine on the far side of the field. Walker heads it infield. McCoon does well, heading it back to Petrov. Petrov to Dunn, and on to Luke Young on the near side. Wearing number 2, playing left back. Into Petrov. Petrov turns away from Lovencrantz, gives it to McCoon again. Back to Petrov. That's good play from Aston Villa in the centre of their midfield. Then that's poor play from Ashley Young. Telegraphed the pass, and it was easily intercepted by Williamson. Enrique on towards Ranger on the far side of the field, intercepted by Walker. Here's McCoon. Tidy little passes from the Frenchman. On now to Agbonlahor. Agbonlahor, right of the penalty area. About 25 seconds remain of the added time. Back to McCoon. McCoon's ball was rather obvious. Simpson intercepted, and it's cleared upfield by Newcastle straight out of play.
Yeah, and that type of delivery there, ball's gone out, is, we've seen too much of that. The eagerness to get that ball forward, yeah, that's okay, but you've got to be accurate with it. And on many occasions, neither side have had that accuracy. And
there is the half-time whistle. I'm just thinking, I think Match of the Day is limited to, on a Sunday, to 10 minutes of highlights. They'll struggle to get 10 minutes out of this match unless it improves radically, Graham.
Yes, I'm sure, that is. It's not been the most entertaining game. There's an understanding from Villa's point of view. They looked on edge. They've got this 1-0 lead. That should hopefully settle them down a little bit. But, when you've looked at Newcastle, they probably have been the slightly better side, I think, but they haven't had an end product.
Half-time at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0.
Thank you very much from Villa Park. Back for the second half of that. We'll do alright, we'll get 10 minutes out of after the second half. Plus we'll have highlights of Blackpool against Arsenal, all the goals from Saturday, a special tribute to the PFA Player of the Year nominees, and also a special feature on West Bromwich Albion since the arrival of Roy. That's match of the day 2 from 10:25 this evening. Let's get a rugby league update. Castleford against Salford and Dave Woods.
Castleford still holding their own by a distance here, 42 points to 16 against Salford, which if the scoreline remains like that, of course, they will be top of the Super League table tonight with a match in hand. Dean Widders rolling in the 47th minute. Darryl Clark with a sniffer try from the close range off from the off-road, close to the sticks in the 52nd minute. So Castleford very much in control here, not like I am, in control of the English language at the moment. And Wakefield 32, Harlequins 22 is the other scoreline. Back to you, Colin.
Welcome to my world, Dave.
Thank you.
We'll be back to you shortly. Plus we're going to go to Augusta for the first time today, but let's pause for your news headlines from Tom Green.
Online at bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Nick Clegg's chief political advisor says he'll consider resigning if the government doesn't change its proposals for the NHS in England. Norman Lamb says that scrapping primary care trusts and giving more budgetary control to GPs in one fell swoop is very risky. In response, the Health Minister Simon Burns said there was a broad consensus within the government to its modernisation plans. Police in Northern Ireland investigating the murder of Constable Ronan Kerr last weekend have been given an extra 5 days to question a 33-year-old man arrested in Omagh on Friday. 2 other men are already being questioned about the car bomb attack. The Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Danny Alexander, says the government will go to court to try to recoup the money it paid out after Iceland's banking system collapsed in 2008. A repayment plan was rejected by Icelandic voters in a referendum. And African Union leaders are arriving in Tripoli to try to broker a ceasefire in Libya. It comes as NATO says its planes have destroyed 25 government tanks that were threatening civilians in Misrata and Ashdabia. On the roads, 2 lanes are closed on the M6 northbound in Staffordshire. That's between junction 14 for Stafford North and junction 15 for Stoke-on-Trent. There's slow traffic and 1 lane blocked on the M4 second 7 crossing eastbound. That's after a car lost a load of kayaks. 1 lane's closed on the entry slip to the M4 westbound at junction 11 for Reading. And in Swansea, the A483 Carmarthen Road is closed inbound because of an accident between Gores Avenue and Defatti Street. Tom Green, 5 Live Travel.
The Champions League quarter-finals.
Second leg on 5 Live.
On Tuesday, it's Man United against Chelsea.
Running in off the post, and Manchester United have that crucial away goal, leading 1-0.
Not many teams go to Old Trafford and come away with a win, but we're certainly capable of that.
And on Wednesday, Tottenham play Real Madrid.
Ronaldo on the volley, 4-0.
We're at home, we'll give it a go. It's not over till it's over, you never know.
5 Live Sport. Weeknights from 7 on 5 Live.
Arsenal won their first game in hand on Manchester United, 3-1 against Blackpool today at Bloomfield Road. Diaby, Abuye and Van Persie were on the score sheet for Arsenal, but it was the man keeping them out for Arsene Wenger's side that drew the most attention. 41-year-old Jens Lehmann got his first starting goal for nearly 3 years after Manuel Almunia got injured in the pre-match warm-up.
Yeah, I was quite surprised because I thought Manuel was playing, and all of a sudden he picked up some kind of minor injury. And he told me, well, you have to play. And so I couldn't really think about it and couldn't afford to be nervous, and I just played.
But you look like you really enjoyed being back out there.
Yeah, of course. I loved playing football. And when you finish, it's a little bit boring because you don't have this adrenaline anymore. And that's what came back to me today, and I'm quite happy about it.
When you came back to the club, did you think there would be any chance of playing?
I didn't really think about it because the distance or the gap between Manuel and myself was quite big at the beginning, and so I need just 3 weeks to get fit. And now that I'm fit, I can keep up physically, and so I didn't really expect it, but it happened today, and sometimes life is about surprises.
What next, or is it too soon to say at the moment?
I don't know, if that was my last game ever, I'm happy because we've won, and let's wait and see what's going on.
And you got a wonderful reception from the Arsenal fans.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased about that. They haven't forgotten me.
What about this team? Is it equipped to properly chase Manchester United now?
Well, there are only 4 points, I think, when we win our game in hand. And
that's when, not if.
Yeah, but look at me. You never know what's going to happen in life. And Manchester is a good team, but they have to play a lot of competitions in the next weeks. And I know from my own experience how exhausting that can be.
That's Jens Lehmann, who started in goal today for the first time in nearly 3 years for Arsenal as they beat Blackpool at Bloomfield Road 3-1. He was speaking with Guy Mowbray. Now, we've had to wait a while for reaction of the Blackpool manager Ian Holloway as he wanted to talk with the referee, Lee Mason. That eventually happened, and after that, Conor McNamara caught up with him.
Just to cut to this penalty, I mean, sometimes they're kind of half shouts. That seemed absolutely blatant.
Yeah, the referee can only give it or not give it. It's just the regularity of things that have gone against us on big calls at this place. And, that's all I was probably carping on about, really. But, we managed to regain some momentum, which we haven't had over the last couple of weeks. And the lads' effort in the second half deserved a bit more than that, I felt. And it would have been very, very interesting if we could have managed to get what I felt was the right decision. Obviously the referee doesn't, and that's just what happens on the day sometimes. But I was just infuriated by the law change and the new interpretations. I'd like to see anyone in the world tell me that Robin van Persie didn't gain an advantage from his position that he took up that helped him to score a goal in the very, very same move. It was so embarrassingly offside that none of my lads, they probably couldn't catch him anyway, unless they're riding a Kawasaki 1500, because he is a bit quick. But Walcott has just rolled it across. He's managed to get behind that. It's the same move, for Christ's sake. It's the same move. How can that be a second phase or whatever you want to call it? And I know they've got to do it, but our game was fine anyway. Leave it alone, because that is just awful.
The thoughts of Ian Holloway after their defeat to Arsenal today at Bloomfield Road. They stay in 17th place. As I say, Arsenal closed the gap on Manchester United. In Scotland, Rangers beat Hamilton 1-0, although Hamilton missed a penalty early on in that game. It closes the gap to 2 points at the top of the SPL, and Hamilton stay rooted to the bottom of the same division. In the first division, it finished Dundee United 1, Stirling 1, and in the Alba Challenge Cup, Queen of the South 0, Ross County 2. Now, it's less than 3 hours until Rory McIlroy tees off in the final round of the Masters at Augusta. If he can hold on to this 4-shot lead, and it's a big if when you talk about the final round at the Masters, he will become the second youngest winner of the tournament since Tiger Woods won the green jacket in 1997, also aged at 21. McIlroy tees off with Angel Cabrera at 7:40 this evening. It's with intrepidation I say hello for the first time today to our golf correspondent Ian Carter. Ian, how are you feeling?
I'm okay. I sense you're a little nervous.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. The Northern Irishmen could put a smile on all their faces at the end of a tough week. So it's not just golf.
If you think about it, Colin, it would be remarkable for Northern Ireland, wouldn't it? We've already have the reigning US Open champion, Graham McDowell, from Northern Ireland, and for Rory McIlroy to sort of sew up half the majors for Northern Ireland would be extraordinary, wouldn't it?
It would be. They say it's his to lose, but so many factors to take into consideration in.
Yeah, absolutely. This is uncharted territory for him because he's never led going into the final round of a major before. He's had top 3 finishes at the 2009 and 2010 US PGAs, also the Open Championship, but not realistic opportunities to win those championships. So it is uncharted territory. You can look back at the 2008 European Masters when he led by 4 shots and ended up losing a playoff there. But that was 2008. It's 2011 now. I think he's a much more mature character, and the way that he's coped with the lead throughout the 3 rounds so far, everything points to a successful day today. But the final day of a major championship is like no other, and it's going to be fascinating to see how he copes.
The top 7 players in all come from outside of the United States, which is surprising in itself. Luke Donald is one to look at. He's tied 6th and 7 under. Tiger Woods 9th and 5 under. You would never want to rule out Tiger Woods, but I think we possibly can. Who's the main threat to McIlroy in your eyes?
Well, I think you have to look at the man with whom he's playing, Angel Cabrera, because he's a former winner of the Masters and the US Open, so a 2-time major winner, and at 8 under par he can look McIlroy straight in the eye. But having said that, there's no great form line there for Cabrera. He had to take 3 months off at the end of last season because of tendinitis. He hasn't put too many decent scores together. So was yesterday's 67 a flash in the pan like the 66 that Woods had in the second round that he couldn't back up, firing a 74 yesterday? I think Woods has got too many people to overtake. I think Luke Donald is a danger man because if you think about it, he was 3 over par on the front 9 of the very first round, and since then has moved to 7 under par. So he is playing very tidy golf, holding a lot of important putts.
Ian, just finally, did Chris Evans buy you a drink for filling in for him last night for a few minutes?
Do you know what? He hasn't as yet. He tickled me throughout one of the answers that I've just given to you, which was very, very pleasant of him. But no, I'm still awaiting that drink, but it'll be a good one as and when it arrives.
And hopefully you'll be toasting Rory. Thank you very much. 9 o'clock tonight then with Chris, Ian and the team. Your coverage from Augusta of the final round of the Masters. It's on the telly as well. Now, Northampton Saints secured their place in the semi-finals of the Heineken Cup, much to the ire of Rory McIlroy, who was watching as he saw his Ulster side beaten 23-13 in Milton Keynes. They'll now play Leinster in the semi-final. It was a punishing game, according to Saints captain Dylan Hartley.
It was hard, mate. Even to the 480. You know, every time you play a team, you think, 60, 70 minutes. Yeah, you got to work, you got to smash your head against a brick wall for 60, 70 minutes and then you'll get your rewards. But, we took our chances and we got rewarded with a few, dominant scrums and stuff like that. But, also they didn't stop playing till 80. You saw in the last 10 minutes there we were defending for our lives in our own line, and just so proud of the lads because bodies were going everywhere, hitting rucks like madmen, and it was it's inspirational stuff when your teammates are doing that. You work hard early on and you get your rewards later. So we came out half time and we just had to keep the tempo and the work rate. We had to keep that up to the standards of the first half, and fair play to the backs that exploited that.
Just quickly, finally, how good is it to get one over on the Irish after what happened 3 weeks ago in Ireland? I know, slightly different scenario.
Different scenario, I watched the worst thing for me was sitting around all weekend watching these other games and not being able to be out in the sunshine and enjoying the weather. I was at home cooped up in my house preparing for this game. I've played the game about 10 times over my head, couldn't sleep last night, so just happy to get it out the way now, and we can focus on the Premiership again.
That's Saints captain Dylan Hartley after a quarter-final win in the Heineken Cup over Ulster. His Northampton through then to play Leinster. Final score today 23-13, and in the other quarter-final it's currently Biarritz 0 to lose 14. Now for some more county cricket and an exceptional performance for Kevin Hiles to tell us about. And Kevin, it involves a young England prospect by the name of Ben Stokes.
It certainly does. Breathtaking stuff down at the Rose Bowl we're talking about here, Colin, because a very promising all-rounder, certainly one for England in the future. Ben Stokes has struck 5 consecutive sixes in just 1 over off poor old Liam Dawson. Only 2 players in first-class cricket have ever achieved 6 sixes, of course, Gary Sobers and Ravi Shastri. Stokes couldn't quite make that, but what a performance. Earlier took 6 wickets in the game as well. 135 not out when Durham declared just a few moments ago in that game. 310 for 3, which is a lead of 490. But really, it must have been tremendously exciting seeing that last ball being bowled. Not if you're Liam Dawson, of course, or Hampshire, but he didn't quite make it. But still, that'll be one they'll be talking about for some time to come. A quick roundup of a couple of other important scores here at Chelmsford, for example. Division 2 here at Chelmsford. Ravi Bopara is bowling a bit better earlier today, and now with the bat he's doing okay. 36 not out, a score of 155 for 3, chasing 285 to beat Kent. And Adil Rashid, he made that pointless journey to the Cricket World Cup, just that one day there, but he's on course for a more permanent role, you think, with England. 11 wickets in the Yorkshire game at Worcester, 5 for 10 off just 40 deliveries. The home side all out for just 137, so Yorkshire need only 56 for a victory.
Thank you, Kevin Hiles, keeping us across the county cricket. In case you missed it earlier, Red Bull's Sebastian Vettel won the Malaysian Grand Prix. McLaren's Jenson Button was second, and Renault's Nick Heidfeld was third. Lewis Hamilton and Alonso were given 20-second penalties. They collided in the closing laps, which meant Hamilton was demoted from 7th to 8th. Moreover, in 5 Live Sports Extra from 6, it's going to be live Major League Baseball. The Philadelphia Phillies at the Atlanta Braves, followed, of course, by that coverage of the final round at Augusta on BBC Radio 5 Live. It's back to Villa Park in the second half of Aston Villa against Newcastle. The home side 1 up. Let's get back to our crack commentary team of Alan Green, Graham Taylor and Simon Brotherton.
Thank you, Colin. Welcome back, everyone. The two teams just out for the start of the second half, and having a look round, doesn't look as though we've got any changes. Villa with Brad Friedel in goal, then it's Kyle Walker, Richard Dunn, James Collins and Luke Young, Stuart Downing, Stilian Petrov, Jean de Macoun and Ashley Young with Darren Bent and Gabby Agbonlahor. Villa will kick off the second half. Newcastle, Steve Harper in goal. Then we have Danny Simpson, Stephen Taylor, Mike Williamson and Jose Enrique at the back. Niall Ranger, Joey Barton, Fabrizio Colaccini, Danny Guthrie, Jonas Gutierrez and Peter Lovenkrantz. Newcastle all in white today. Change strip, interesting one. There's no real clash with claret and blue and the black and white, but no doubt that's to do with selling kits. And Stuart Atwell wasn't very happy with the kick-off at the start of the second half, so Villa will have to do it all again. And Villa kicking from left to right as we look. We're behind the dugouts in their claret and blue shirts, white shorts and claret socks, and now we do get underway at the second time of asking. Aston Villa leading by 1-0. James Collins with the goal. It was a well taken free kick from the left hand side by Ashley Young, whipped into the penalty area, and then a flicked looping header by Collins beyond Harper into the far corner of the net. But Villa were a little unfortunate not to go 2 up shortly before half time. Darren Bent adjudged to have been offside when he looked to be level, but on the balance of the play I think 2-0 certainly would have flattered Aston Villa quite a bit, Graham.
Yeah, it certainly would. Just there from the kick-off, you know, all the anoraks, the ball has to be played forward and it must move its circumference. It was played backwards. So we had to have the kick-off again.
You'd think the players would know what was going on, wouldn't you, really, with the kick-off?
You'd think they'd read all the laws of the game before the season started, wouldn't you?
Lines are open for 606 0500 909 693. Alan's here with us at Villa Park today. You can text 85058. Give him a call. 606 lines open now. 0500 909 693. As Villa try to push forward down the right hand side, but it just rolls out of play. Agbonlahor can't keep it in, and it will be a throw in to Newcastle United, who had 1 or 2 chances in the first half. Diving header beyond the far post for Joey Barton fairly early in the game, prominent among them, but Villa with the all-important goals, particularly from their point of view. Villa starting the match, just a reminder, 2 points above the relegation zone. It's been a good weekend for Villa without even playing, because the teams below them have all been beaten this weekend, but from their point of view they'll need to take advantage of that today. They're on the attack now, left-hand angle of the corner of the penalty area with Luke Young still going, gets across into the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's calmly chested back by Jose Enrique to his goalkeeper, and Gutierrez brings the ball clear, and then, well, only he knows what he was intending there, because he just kicked the ball out of play. But Graham, let's just rewind about 50 yards and go back to that Jose Enrique. He just looks like a really good player, doesn't he?
He does. He's very comfortable on the ball, isn't he? Likes possession of the ball, and certainly if he has an opponent in the immediate vicinity, it doesn't worry him at all. He's prepared to take him on. And he maintains that comfort in possession of the ball even when an opponent is very close to him.
Danny Simpson has got possession in the sunshine on the far side. Still a lovely warm afternoon in Birmingham. Ball played forward. Niall Ranger chasing. 2 of Villa's defenders, Dunn and Collins, converging on him, and Dunn wins the ball and gets it clear. Little flick from Petrov, doesn't work. Colaccini collects it. Now it's with Peter Lovenkrantz behind the D. To his left is Gutierrez, just outside the penalty area. Held up momentarily by Walker, but Gutierrez still has the ball at his feet. He's surrounded by claret and blue, waited for support to come. It's arrived now from Jose Enrique. Now it's Gutierrez. Little exchange between the pair of them. Good play here by Newcastle, down to the byline, and Gutierrez, well, he had to stretch just to keep it in play, didn't he, really?
Yeah, he was
always going to struggle. A great one.
He was always going to struggle to get some air on that ball, because it was just a struggle to keep it and get the cross in.
Macoun in possession now, forward towards Ashley Young. Young claims a handball. It's not been given, and Newcastle come away with it through the centre circle. With the captain for the day, Joey Barton. He's dispossessed, and Villa can now attack with Petrov away to the left hand side. It's Agbonlahor. He keeps the ball in play up to the left hand edge of the penalty area. Bent waits in the centre. It's in, and it's saved by Harper. Harper gets his hands to the ball, and it skids across towards the near side, goes down near the corner flag. A little shove on Ashley Young right in front of the assistant on the near side by Enrique. Nothing doing though. Villa have got possession once again, and at this stage we welcome World Service listeners wherever you are. Welcome to sunny Birmingham, where Aston Villa are beating Newcastle United by 1-0. James Collins midway through the first half, and we're 4 minutes into the second period now, with Agbonlahor of Aston Villa in their claret and blue shirts kicking from left to right in the second half towards the Holt end of the ground. Petrov rolling the ball to the left-hand side to the shaven-headed figure of Luke Young. Agbonlahor comes back and collects the ball. Villa taking their time here, but slowly advancing towards the Newcastle goal. Makoun, the Cameroon international, to the near side to Kyle Walker. Walker now taking on Gutierrez. Little prod of the ball outside to Downing. Downing on the right-hand angle of a penalty area, weaving his way through, down to the byline, chips it in, it's over Harper, beyond the far post, and it goes behind. It's an Aston Villa corner. Very quickly, let's go to Dave Woods and get an update from Castleford.
It's full time. Castleford have won by 52 points to 29 tries they've scored. They are top of the Super League tonight with a match in hand. Castleford 20 52, Salford 20.
Cheers, Dave. 5 minutes played in the second half. Villa with a corner in front of the hardcore fanatical home support. Away to our right, over it comes, into the heart of the penalty area, headed away by Mike Williamson. Firm header clear, 35 yards out with Kyle Walker, who sends one hurtling into the crowd about 15 rows back from the front, and it's thrown down towards Harper, the goalkeeper. Here's Graham Taylor.
Yeah, there was a situation with Walker. He was always going to have the shot. And you know, you look at players sometimes and they don't take the full picture. And if he had done that, it would have been far better for him to have got the ball out wide again to Petrov, and we've been able to get behind the Newcastle defenders. So the shot itself went miles over, but you know, you'd like to see players take a bigger look of the pitch, of what's about them, what's round about them, so they have options.
Enrique for Newcastle just inside his own half, turning this way and that. He's pressured and forced back via Stephen Taylor. It goes back to Harper, and Agbonlahor was closing in on him all the time, and Harper hurriedly cleared the ball up to the halfway line, into the Villa half of the field, collected by Luke Young, away to his left in the sunshine. About 3/4 of the pitch in shade now, but there's the whole of Aston Villa's left wing is in bright sunshine over on the far side, the Whitton side of the ground. The fans still basking in the beautiful spring-like conditions we've had throughout the UK over the weekend. It really is t-shirt weather here. Won't be for long though. I think the cold weather's back in the next couple of days or so. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle 0 the score. James Collins with a header after 23 minutes. Ashley Young midway inside the Newcastle half. Lovely feet there by Agbonlahor. Played forward by Makoun. The idea was to get the ball to Bent, but it was cut out by the Newcastle defence. They did well, and it's cleared up towards the halfway line. Barton goes for it. Lovenkrantz brings it down. Dunn goes across, and Lovenkrantz was a little bit hurried, and he concedes a throw midway inside the Aston Villa half.
Yeah, Villa started, I think, slightly better here, because in the first half, I think Newcastle had edged it, even though Villa had got that 1-0 lead. But certainly Villa have come out with intent, and to keep it going, and that will keep their supporters in behind them, and that's very, very important they do that.
Well, Newcastle still very much in the game at 1-0 down, and in recent years, what we sometimes label the Premier League era, Newcastle have been here 16 times before today. They've only lost on 5 occasions out of that 16. They've got a pretty good record at Villa Park in recent years. Makoun wins the ball off Gutierrez for Villa, looks up and then promptly gives it away. A crossfield pass straight to Simpson, needlessly given away by the Aston Villa midfielder. And Colaccini, the Argentinian, away to the right hand side, and the captain for the day, Joey Barton. Barton short ball back into Colaccini, midway inside the Villa half, middle of the field. He's got time and space. Guthrie working it to Enrique on the left hand side, and now Gutierrez looks for a return pass from Barton, which he doesn't get. Barton can't quite keep the ball in play, and Newcastle's move, which promised much, delivered absolutely nothing, and it's throw into the home side.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that by both sides. You know, you've looked at it and you think, yeah, in possession now, can you create something, can you make something, can you get something out of the actual ball possession? And they failed. I mean, I don't want to be ultra critical on them, but the quality's not been all that good.
Mistake there by Kyle Walker giving the ball away. Means that Newcastle have got it once again and can try and build with Guthrie. We're on the left-hand side for Newcastle, about a yard or two in from the touchline in the Aston Villa half. Still 10 yards outside the box as Ranger tries to find Colaccini, but Petrov gets his foot in there, rolls it forward towards Bent, who's just clouted by Stephen Taylor. The referee plays an advantage to Aston Villa, and Agbonlahor takes up the running now, left of centre, midway inside the Newcastle half. Luke Young in the sunshine on the far side as we look, level with the edge of the Newcastle box. Back to Agbonlahor. Bent is back on his feet and inside the penalty area, but Ashley Young goes for goal, and it's just very, very close. I thought that Harper may have got a touch to that, diving low to his right, but It's not been given as a corner, it's Newcastle's ball, and to be honest, the angle that we're at and the distance, it was hard to tell.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that myself. Obviously, the booing is going round the crowd to let the referee know that every supporter here saw the goalkeeper's
It should have been a corner. The goalkeeper
right,
did.
Right. We've got the advantage of the replay, which obviously the referee hasn't got. But in this occasion, the crowd are right.
And to be fair, it wasn't even close. It was quite a decent hand the goalkeeper got on it. But never mind, he's taken the kick. Villa leading by 1-0 here against Newcastle. James Collins midway through the first half. This is 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC from a sunny Birmingham here as Colaccini on the halfway line. Just catches Petrov. Colaccini was in possession, rode one challenge, nearly lost the ball, was about to lose it to Petrov, and then he rather snapped into that one.
Yeah, he went over the ball, but what I would say from him, I think the referee's been very good here. He didn't go with his studs over onto the opponent. He went right over the ball to almost protect the ball, but there was no movement to go into the player.
Other than to stamp on his toe?
Well, I don't know whether he did stamp on his toe, but I honestly don't think that he went over the top of the ball to injure the player. I think he went over the top of the ball to bring the ball into him, and I think the referee read that right.
Yeah, and Stuart Atwell was well placed as well over the halfway line. Newcastle attack with Nile Ranger. They're still very much in this game, aren't they, at 1-0 Newcastle in terms of, not just the scoreline, but in terms of the general play.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, even now it's hard to say whether either side should be one goal up or I think it's been very level. Not a good quality game at all, but for me, I think that it's parity at the moment.
Do you think Villa's performance is partly explained by the position that they're in and perhaps the pressure that they're feeling? Or
there's obviously that feeling, isn't there, that it's been coming on, the results haven't been there, and they will know themselves. They'll know it's very, very important to win this game, win your home games.
Richard Dunn thumps the ball clear with his right foot. Williamson meets it with his head, gets there ahead of Agbonlahor, and then it's nodded forward and away again. Newcastle in possession, midway inside their own half. Mike Williamson, short ball in towards Danny Guthrie, the central midfielder, who's come back to collect it. He rolls it to the edge of the penalty area to Taylor, back to Harper. Darren Bent just loitering in the penalty area, as he always does. 5 goals in 9 appearances for Aston Villa before today, following his big money move from Sunderland during the season. That's a good return on the money so far, as Newcastle struggle to string a few passes together, but Villa can't keep hold of it when it comes their way. And now Colaccini, with time to look up, plays it to his right. Danny Simpson in possession. Simpson has Barton just ahead of him. Barton gives it back. Simpson tries again, further forward this time towards Nile Ranger, and Ranger tussling with Richard Dunn, falling awkwardly, but it's given as an Aston Villa throw-in. No foul against Richard Dunn. Ranger complaining to Stuart Atwell, but there's nothing doing from his point of view.
Yeah, I mean, the competition between Richard Dunn and Ranger there, they're both physical players, a lot of body contact, but Ranger, for me, should be able to hold that ball up much more comfortably. He's always fighting for the ball.
Newcastle fans arranged like rows and rows of barcodes in their black and white striped shirts on the far side. Good couple of thousand of them inside Villa Park here today. Ball stuck in the middle third of the field at the moment, collected by Petrov. To his left now, and Ashley Young. Young with a chance to run at Newcastle's defence here. 12 minutes into the second half, feeds it forward. Luke Young into the centre, bent with his back to goal, challenged at the last moment, and Williamson passes the ball clear 20 yards to Colaccini, and then Colaccini tries to be too clever and he's given it away, but Villa will have to build from the halfway line with Kyle Walker. Macoun now back to Downing almost on the halfway line itself, forward to Macoun rolling it up towards Agbonlahor just behind the D. Agbonlahor creates a little shooting opportunity, but it's a fairly comfortable save, low to his left for Steve Harper.
Just earlier than that, when Darren Bent tried to turn with the ball, if he turns and puts it in the net, we all say that's the art of the goal scorer. It was crying out for a lay-back to Agbonlahor, who he just totally ignored. And that's your problem sometimes when you get the goal scorer, gets the ball in the box. All it is in his body is, I've got to put this in the net. And he ignores other things. And it was just a simple lay-back, and Agbonlahor would have the clear goal to shoot at.
Just looking at them and the points you were making earlier, Graham, about the type of players that Agbonlahor and Bent are. More of that in just a moment, because Lovenkranz has done well here against Kyle Walker, winning the ball back for Newcastle on the Newcastle left, and Gutierrez now 10 yards outside the box, sidesteps Downing, floats the ball into the centre, but there's nobody there in a white shirt.
Without
all that effort, there was no end product, and Agbonlahor now sends the ball across the field towards Bent. Bent up to the penalty area, into the box he goes, force wide, challenged by Taylor, down he goes. Villa shout for a penalty. Stuart Atwell says no.
Well, as the defender came across, I haven't seen anything. I've just seen the replay now. I was going to say I haven't seen one. I think penalty. Well, I think penalty. He went to cross him. You don't have to hit him hard. He didn't hit him hard. He took his ground off him and pushed him away. Sometimes it looks soft, and perhaps once again, Bent went down very comfortably. But you look at that. He's come across him.
It would have been a soft penalty, but the defender did lead with his arm, so technically it probably was. Now it's with Ashley Young on the left-hand side. We've played for an hour here at Villa Park. Villa pushing forward. Young up to the edge of the box towards the byline. Just brings the ball back. Simpson sticks with him. Young now tries to go onto his left foot again into the near post. It's punched away by the left fist of Harper. And Newcastle clear it. They've got a player down. I wonder whether that's Simpson just inside the penalty area. He's holding his right leg at the moment, and Stuart Atwell just stops the game. It's still Villa 1, Newcastle 0.
Yeah, he went in for a tackle on Ashley Young, who got the cross in. And then, he's coming away. Probably Ashley Young caught him, but it was a pure accident if he caught him.
Well, they're treating this injury, Graham. From Newcastle's point of view, have they done just about as well as you would have thought they might have done coming up into the Premier League? Because it's not an easy league to come up into, is it?
It's not. And, if you look at all of that...
And they lost Andy Carroll as well, didn't
everything that has gone on there in their first year back in, I think they've got to be very happy with, in fact, what they've done. Because, dear me, there's so many changes, so many things have happened in there. But actually to take the step, as we all know, from the Championship into the Premier League is not easy.
Simpson's okay, and some more good news for Newcastle fans is that Hatem Ben Arfa returned to training this week. He's only taken part in light work so far. He came back into the club on Tuesday, but Alan Pardew hopes to have him training with the first team again in a couple of weeks' time. And Ben Arfa missed much of the season after that challenge in the Manchester City match earlier on in the campaign. But Newcastle trailing by 1-0, and Colaccini rather sliding in over enthusiastically on Petrov. Villa have a free kick to the left of the centre circle just inside the Newcastle half.
Well, I certainly would have been surprised if Stuart Atwell had let that go. Once you dive in, once you show in your studs, feet off the ground, it's a free kick.
Colaccini actually will do well to get to the end of the 90 minutes without having his name taken by the referee, won't he, to be honest? There's a couple of challenges in the last 10 minutes or so. Villa with a free kick away to the left-hand side. It's out with Ashley Young. Young forward to his namesake Luke Young, down near the corner flag, held up by Simpson, and Barton doubles up as well, and Luke Young works hard, and he thought that he'd won a corner, and everybody behind the goal thought that he'd won a corner, and Luke Young goes running after Stuart Atwell, the referee. Agbonlahor has a word as well, and it's been given as a goal kick to Newcastle United.
Well, you can see from the Villa, or hear from the Villa supporters as well, but where's this respect campaign? Well, what about it? Have we said anything yet? Or goodness me, you cannot. Yes, we all know about decisions, and we all know they go against it. We all know the referee gets them wrong, and we all know in the heat of the moment we say and do things that perhaps we shouldn't do. But in this game, the approach to the referee has been total, because those players know exactly what they're doing, led initially by Barton of Newcastle, but thereby 2 or 3 Aston Villa players. There's no respect there being shown at all.
Stephen Taylor has gone off meantime, and Ryan Taylor has come on, which means that Colaccini has gone into the back four alongside Williamson. So his little spell as a midfielder has come to an end, and he's got some defending to do now. Villa attack down the left-hand side with Agbonlahor onto the right foot. High, long cross, way too long really, and Downing had to jump at full stretch just to try and get his head on the ball at all to stop it going out of play, and he couldn't do so, and it all comes to nothing. It's still Villa 1, Newcastle 0. A reminder that earlier on Blackpool beaten 3-1 at home by Arsenal, so Arsenal keeping their faint title hopes alive, and another disappointing result for Blackpool as they try to stay out of trouble at the bottom end of the table in the SPL in Scotland. Rangers 1-0 winners at Hamilton today. Celtic's lead over Rangers at the top reduced to 2 points. A reminder, the lines are open for 606 0500 909 693. Give Alan a call after the match. You can text 850 5-8 as well. This is 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC, the Barclays Premier League, live from Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0. A big game this from Aston Villa's point of view in particular, with them just 2 points above the relegation zone. They'll be working hard to hang on to this slender lead, but slender it is. And Newcastle have a free kick on the halfway line.
Yeah, they move the ball about quite well at times, both sides have, but it always ends with either a misplaced pass or miscontrol. You know, the movements are not being seen through to the end. Initially they look promising, but very few of them have ended up with any real end product.
Well, Newcastle will still fancy their chances of getting on the score sheet at least here. Just 1 clean sheet for Villa in their last 10 league matches. Ranger goes up and gets his head on the free kick, but merely heads it out of play, and then just rubs his knee as if he landed a little bit awkwardly, perhaps.
Yeah, I think he has.
Just giving it a stretch. Gives both of his knees a tweak, has a stretch, and Villa look as though they might be making a change. Nigel Rio-Coker, who played at Everton in the 2-2 draw last weekend, is got his tracksuit top off and putting his shirt on, so Rio-Coker will come on to bolster the midfield shortly. I wonder who'll make way for him as Friedel clears the ball. Darren Bent wins the duel with Colaccini in the air, and Agbonlahor is having his shirt pulled there by Williamson quite blatantly, but the referee decided that there was nothing untoward, and the match continues, and Newcastle are in possession. 20 minutes played in the second half. 1-0 to Aston Villa, but Newcastle on the attack with Gutierrez. Neat little infield ball towards Joey Barton, captaining the team today. Barton involved in a 50-50 with Petrov underneath the referee's nose, and Newcastle all in white, still in possession. Gutierrez tries to take on Kyle Walker. He gets the luck of the bounce there, but Gutierrez can't make the most of it. It's not a good ball in. It's cleared away by Collins, and now Darren Bent has got possession on the near side in the Newcastle half of Villa. Back to the halfway line, and Downing looks up as if to say, come on, give me some options here, teammates. And he just goes wandering in towards the centre circle, still on halfway. Short ball to Petrov, and Villa were busy going nowhere then, when perhaps you would have expected them to head towards the Newcastle goal, and they'd contrived between them, Petrov and Walker, to volley the ball all too harmlessly out of play. That was a shoddy piece of play if ever I've seen one.
I don't want to comment about that. I mean, 6 or 7 touches in a 10-yard area, and the last touch you put it out of play. No.
Nigel Rio-Coker comes on to replace Jean de Macoun here at Villa Park. Change made by Gerard Houllier, Aston Villa's manager, who has been sitting down now during the second half. Agbonlahor in possession, just behind the D, takes it slightly wide and then rolls it back towards Ashley Young. Haven't seen much of Young in the second half. First touch for Rio-Coker, in towards Petrov, who shoots from 25 yards, but the ball goes a long, long way wide of the goal.
Yeah, he was very keen to get the shot in, and he lost all the shape when he swung his leg at it, so it was well wide, never going to trouble the keeper at all.
Hartlepool have a kick, and now Houllier gets up and urges his team to keep things going. Villa still not entirely convincing, are they? And not just in terms of that little muck-up that saw the ball go out of play just then.
They're not. The only thing I would say, I'm not trying to offer them any real kind of excuse at all, is that they would know before this, and they still know it's important to win this game.
Bent on the halfway line, tussling with Colaccini, and Colaccini thought that he'd won a throw-in, but it falls to Downing, who hooks it over his shoulder. Bent chasing very, very hard, trying to get to the ball. Newcastle get it away, but it's a poor header by Ryan Taylor, collected by Ashley Young, feeds it to Luke Young, who's charging down the left wing. He in turn lets Agbonlahor collect possession, and Villa will build again with Ashley Young. Young back to Dunn, short of the halfway line. Midway through the second half here, Aston Villa lead Newcastle by 1-0, and taking you through to the end of the 90 minutes, Alan Green.
And I'll be sitting on beyond that 90 minutes to host 606. The lines are open, 0500 909 693. Get your calls in. Doesn't look as if too many of them will be sparked by this affair. Anyway, here's Guthrie for Newcastle to the far side of the field, and Simpson just inside the Villa half. Guthrie again. Barton has now gone into a central position. Ryan Taylor's down the right. Dunn seemed to catch Joey Barton there. The referee wasn't convinced of that. Barton's down. Play continues. Near side of the field. Kyle Walker into Downing. Downing running towards the Holt end, towards the Newcastle penalty area. Barton's back on his feet. The attack's still on. Ashley Young with a shot. Hits Simpson, goes behind for a corner. Let's just wait and see if Joey Barton makes his way. Now that he's running again, will he run up to Stuart Atwell? No, he's staying away.
Well advised to as well.
21 minutes left for play here. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle 0 in the Barclays Premier League here on 5 Live. Ashley Young in the remaining sunshine on the far side of the field. That's the Villa left, about to take this corner at the Holt end, who will want to suck in a second goal to make sure 3 points of Villa. Young plays it deep, looking for a score of the first goal. Collins' header was easily cleared. Here's Luke Young. Ashley Young wants it again, gets it. Luke Young sprinting outside of Ashley Young, gets to the pass, crosses in towards the near post. Williamson with a header clear. Another header down there by Petrov, but it's out of play. That'll be a throw into Newcastle. Just to say, Graham, that basically Newcastle haven't got anything up front.
No,
I mean, Lovencrans and Rangers
haven't done
nothing.
Have
You know, if it had some sort of attacking presence, then their better play in other areas of the pitch might have
been a production for them.
Might have got something. That's good work by Albon Lahore, forcing a corner, which Ashley Young will take. Once more, Collins and Dunn come up to the back. Certainly a second goal will kill off Newcastle. Ashley Young delays taking the corner until Collins and Dunn are in position. Collins is on the far post, and it's played deep, looking for James Collins. Dunn had to rush back. I don't think he intended to get there. It was just an overhit corner by Ashley Young, and Dunn heads it behind.
I know, players don't mean to do things, and Ashley Young there has well overhit the corner, but they're very irritating because corners, free kicks, they're all scoreable opportunities, and when that delivery isn't right, it's just a complete waste.
Well, his delivery from the free kick in the 24th minute was perfect.
Yeah.
And, Collins, good header, that's why it's 1-0.
Yeah.
Darren Bent loses the ball. I'd love to know how many times Bent has actually passed and found a colleague. Not a lot. Now, that looked like a foul by Rio Coker on Barton. Wasn't given the free kick. There's a mistake by Kyle Walker. Gutierrez into the penalty area. Walker gets in another challenge, and there must have been an infringement by Gutierrez.
Yes.
It's a free kick to Villa.
Yeah, he thought that Gutierrez actually pushed him, which I think he did.
Pushed Walker. He hasn't exactly impressed, has he, Gutierrez?
No,
dear. Actually, I think there's a good argument that Enrique's been the most impressive player on the pitch, the Newcastle left back. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Graham. The way, when he gets the ball and there's an opponent near, he's not flustered.
It doesn't bother him at all.
No, doesn't bother. It's as if I know I can beat you.
Yeah.
So we've played nearly 27 minutes of the second half here on 5 Live. It's still 1-0 to Aston Villa. Darren Bent. Bent finds a colleague. Rio Coker. To the near side it goes, and Stuart Downing. Downing in the bright orange boots. Checks inside the fullback, crosses towards the near post, where it's headed away by Colaccini. Headed back by Walker in the direction of Downing, but Enrique is there. Enrique's pass over the halfway line. I think Ranger was leaning on Collins rather than making an effort to get to the ball. As a result, he lost it. And it's with Downing again. The Villa right. On to Petrov. Petrov faced by Enrique. Petrov rolling the ball under his right foot. There's a touch, I think, by Guthrie, or Joey Barton rather, and it's out of play for a throw-in.
See Gerard Houllier up on in the technical area, having a close look, having a word with Collins.
Here's Downing crossing with his right foot, overhits the cross, and it's Ryan Taylor on the far side of the field, having come on for Stephen Taylor. And now Barton. Barton scurries forward into the centre circle. It's a good ball, flipped to the right side. Can they get a decent cross in towards Lovencrans and Ranger? It's played high into the penalty area. Collins with a good header away, and hooked further clear in the volley by Ashley Young. But now it's with Simpson, the Newcastle right back. Simpson on to Ryan Taylor. Back it goes now to Guthrie. Guthrie leaves it to Taylor once more on the far side. Into Guthrie again. Back now to Colaccini, almost on the halfway line. Played to Enrique. There are only about 16 minutes to go here for Newcastle to force an equaliser. Not a good ball by Enrique. At least Ranger didn't make anything of it. And it's cleared by Collins. Bent Back to Ashley Young. Lovely ball to Agbonlahor. Bent screaming for the ball in the penalty area, but Agbonlahor tried to take on Williamson. Couldn't beat him, but he has won a corner.
What a chance. First class delivery by Ashley Young. Set Agbonlahor away, but I just have these questions about Gabby on occasions. When he gets going, does he pick his head up? He's fast, he's quick.
Blinkers.
And it's a head down situation most of the time.
Ashley Young to take the corner. 16 minutes to go here at Villa Park. Beautiful afternoon. Long may they continue. Ashley Young replaces the ball in the quadrant. Here he comes, right-footed, and it's hit high for Collins. Collins heads it goalwards, and it's cleared off the line. I think the shot had actually, or the header had actually beaten the goalkeeper. Cleared by Newcastle. Villa on the attack again. Ashley Young down the left side. Barton with a strong challenge. Belts the ball into the crowd, and then he complains to Stuart Atwell. He obviously thinks he should have had a free kick for the challenge by Young. He's an argument waiting to happen, is our Joey.
He is. Certainly in this game. I don't know whether that captain's armband has made him think that he's got every right to say something all of the time, but he's edging for trouble if he's not careful.
He's just not as good as he thinks he is. Thrown on the far side of the field. If he's the best England midfield player, then we really have problems under Capello. There's an offside flag. That was careless by Villa on the far side. Petrov, and it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle United. Harper to take it. I can't recall Harper having to make too many saves, actually.
It's the same with both keepers, isn't it? When you think,
largely unemployed. Harper and Friedel. Harper's free kick. Ranger jumped early. Collins won the header there. Collis Queller will be coming on shortly for Aston Villa. Here's Downing. Downing to Agbonlahor. Bent's in a good position. Agbonlahor ignores him, runs into the penalty area, and Enrique just shrugs him aside, takes the ball away and flicks it carefully to Gutierrez. Good work by the fullback.
Definitely. I think if we were in the business, which thankfully we're not, of awarding man of the match, Enrique would be taking that.
It'll be a home,
very well.
It'll be a home player.
Well,
so who's been worse but is a good talker? Because that's what it normally amounts to, isn't it? Anyway, Stuart Downing very quietly has had a good game, I think, for Villa. In fact, I think the argument is that he's been Villa's best player for a couple of months now. And he appeared well for England in those 2 games.
Got a substitute coming on for Villa.
Yeah, Queller. I don't know what. Well, logically it would be for Kyle Walker, but we'll see. Here's Williamson to Simpson for Newcastle. They've only got 13.5 minutes to go. Now Colaccini, who started in midfield, is now back in his regular position in the middle of the back 4. He's up into the centre circle. Looked like an accurate pass to Guthrie. I think Guthrie may have taken his eyes off the ball as a consequence. Didn't pick it up, and it's flicked forward to Bent, who ran forward too quickly and is offside. So here comes Queller, and it is indeed Kyle Walker. You rate Walker?
I think pace-wise, I think going forward, I think it's another Glenn Johnson, if you know what I mean, in his early days.
Yep.
I'm not so certain about his defensive capabilities.
Yep. It's a very good analysis, Graham. If you play a regular back 4, then your full-backs have got to defend as well. And that will forever be Glenn Johnson's problem. However good he is going forward, I think Liverpool should play him wide right. Anyway, free kick taken by the Newcastle goalkeeper Harper, well out of his penalty area. Barton plays it back to Enrique. Forward to Gutierrez. Enrique once more. Barton. Guthrie was to his right. Barton preferred to chip the ball into the penalty area, where it's headed away well by Collins. Actually, Collins has missed nothing in the air at the back, and of course appears to have scored the winning goal. We've got 12 minutes to go. Agbonlahor on the far side of the field. Bent's the only Villa player in the penalty area. Nobody's really rushing forward. The pass went back to Ashley Young. Rio Coker went in, won it. Ashley Young as well. And then, there was a massive collision there, I think with Guthrie. Ashley Young is down. And now there's a foul on the far side of the field. Stuart Atwell may have to do something here with Stilian Petrov. The challenge was on Barton. And he's certainly being quite demonstrative, the referee, in bringing Petrov to his attention. Meantime, Ashley Young is still lying face down. hard to tell if. I mean, I didn't see there's anything wrong there with Ashley Young.
If anything, Ashley Young was late himself, and he'd come through on the ball, and Ashley Young went up way up in the air, but it was more to do with him arriving late for the ball.
With 11 minutes to go, reminder of the number for 606 0500 909 693. Ashley Young still receiving attention. The attendance, by the way, 37,090. So Villa Park is certainly not full. I mean, just look around. The whole end is pretty much full, apart from that far left-hand side, the lower tier, and gaps elsewhere. Ashley Young's all right. Oh dear. We talked about this in the first half, you know. You cry wolf too often, people just won't believe you.
Well, that's a problem, isn't it? I mean, it wasn't the Newcastle player's fault at all. He did go up in the air, he did land rather heavily, so it's probably taken the wind out of him. But the biggest problem really is when players are kidding. Let's change the word, when players are cheating. Because that's what it is. When you go down deliberately and you haven't been brought down.
So the free kick taken by Newcastle for the foul by Petrov on Barton, but it was a poor free kick, easily gathered by Bradfield. By the way, Petrov, we were half watching Ashley Young to see if he was okay. Petrov was booked for that challenge on Barton. Petrov, not a happy bunny at the moment. Maybe the captain, but you know, it's if I'm not in the team, I'm off type thing. Good work by Cuellar, winning the ball, finding Rio Coker. Cuellar's got it back onto Downing. Downing cutting in from the right side, beating Enrique. No, he doesn't beat Enrique. Enrique gets in a very good tackle, and it's behind for a...
Done well, hasn't he, Enrique? You know, we've been talking about him, about how comfortable he is on the ball, even when players are around him. But he's shown some pace there. He's prepared to get the tackle in, and his interception there was very good.
Corner at the Holt end to Villa. And we've got less than 10 minutes to go here. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle 0. James Collins with the only goal. Played in towards Collins, who made the run to the near post, and Collins couldn't connect with his head. And Petrov giving a message to Gerard Houllier on the near side of the field. I think it must be another injury for Aston Villa. I don't know whether it's Petrov. In fact, it might well be Petrov. The ball's on the halfway line, and they've only used Rio Coker at the moment, so they can, of course, make a change.
Complaining about his hamstring, I think.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Clark didn't come back into the team. Kieran Clark, he's only on the bench today. And another of the kids that I really like is Mark Albrighton.
Well, I've always liked Albrighton in a sense, you know he's going to work, you know he's going to be a threat. He puts his crosses in, you know you're going to get them from him as well, and there is a consistency about him.
We're actually going to see a Newcastle change before any Villa alteration. Cucci will be coming on. Well, they've needed a bit more up front. I'm not saying necessarily that Cucci will supply it, but he will bring something different. And Robert Pires preparing to come on for Aston Villa. Now, Luke Young is going to be ticked off by the referee for committing a foul on the far side of the field. Well, no, Young just moves away, gets away from the referee's attention. It is nevertheless a free kick to Newcastle United. Here's the change. Ranger, most ineffective, unfortunately, replaced by Cucci, who at least brings a physical presence.
He does,
let's say.
Yeah.
Rather rotund.
Yeah.
All right, he's got a belly. A bit of one, but who am I to say? But you know, I'm not playing football. Anyway, Cucci's in the penalty area now, waiting for this free kick to be played in by Newcastle United. Still trailing by a goal to nil. 7.5 minutes to go. Played in with a low trajectory. It was a poor free kick and headed away out of play by Petrov. Ryan Taylor's delivery should have been better than that. Taylor will now take the throw in, about 4 yards from the corner flag. Comes forward, launches into the penalty area, gets good distance. The ball bouncing on the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Aston Villa. Enrique trying to step inside of Downing's challenge. Downing must have got a touch on it, and Cuellar with a clearance to the halfway line, where it's taken on the chin by Joey Barton. Now Enrique. 6.5 minutes to go. Ball's out of play, and Enrique was at fault there to throw into Aston Villa.
Whenever Cucci comes on, I can't help but smile because it reminds me, Alan, I went to watch him. I was in my second spell at Watford, went to Helsinki, playing in an international game. This was the player, this was what was going to make up, and he was substitute, and he came on with 15 seconds to go. What a waste of a trip.
Was it a win bonus for him? This is the question.
Dear me. No, dear me.
Oh dear. Well, I hope you're an economy, Graham.
At Watford, you can believe me, I was in economy.
1-0 Aston Villa lead here. We've got a fraction over 5 minutes to go here on 5 Live. 0500 909 693, the number for 606, which will follow the commentary. And don't forget, tonight, of course, the climax to the final round of the Masters. Good ball played forward by Gutierrez to Cucci, left edge of the penalty, tried to pull the ball back, blocked by Dunn, and is behind for a corner to Newcastle United, which, given Ryan Taylor's delivery at the last free kick, is wisely being left to Joey Barton to take. From this near side, the Newcastle left. So we've got Williamson and Colaccini up to aid the strikers inside the Villa penalty, and Villa have got everybody back facing this Barton corner. Barton signals, plays it in right-footed deep, easy catch for Friedel. That's about as busy as Friedel's been all day.
It is, yes. I mean, neither goalkeeper have had really anything to do at all. Villa have got the all-important goal, you can see that. And it's been very, very tight, really. It could easily have been Newcastle, I suppose, really. It could be 1-0 up, because it is a tight game.
Ball is with Villa for a throw-in on the halfway line. Oh, Perez is... Well, it's not Petrov who's coming off, it's Agbonlahor. Yeah. Perez will come on for Agbonlahor. So it can't be Petrov who had the problem. Is Agbonlahor limping a little bit?
Well, Petrov was certainly complaining and holding the back of his leg, but that's gone out of the window now, and it's Agbonlahor that comes off, with Pires going, I would guess, to play in behind.
I've lost touch. Is he still getting taxis from London to attend training? It's a good deal if you can get it. Another throw into Aston Villa, near touchline, they're right, and apart from a sliver of sunshine on the far side of the pitch, the ground is now cast in shadow. But a glorious Sunday afternoon, and an important Sunday afternoon for Aston Villa if they can hold on to take all 3 points. They'd move up to 37, which isn't normally a total that you would associate with safety, but it's not that far off, Greg.
It's not, no.
Ball back with Harper, the Newcastle goalkeeper. 3.5 minutes to go. Harper clatters it right-footed in the direction of Cucci. Good header away by Petrov and on by Downing. Collins collided with Petrov there, barged into his back. Didn't mean to, of course. Petrov is down, and Newcastle put the ball out of play. Leave it to the referee. Of course, if Newcastle had played on, the Villa fans would have been booing them. But it's just, the referee's got to be free to decide if a player is injured.
Well, I'm a big supporter of that because it opens up far too many things. Yes, Villa will now give the ball back to Newcastle, but if they throw it right deep into the corner, I'm not going to say that they will do, but they can do that if they want.
Yeah. Well, Petrov's,
which is not where the ball was.
He'll have to leave the pitch having received attention, but you can bet he'll be on very, very quickly after that. Everybody's taking an opportunity to have a drink. It's tiring work out there for the players today on a lovely afternoon. Quella will take the throw in. I think Ashley Young's saying, give it to me and I'll give it back to Newcastle, but where's he going to give it? And you see now he puts it deliberately behind for a goal kick. Now you see, I think that's unsporting.
That's not right, because we all know where the ball was when it was put out of play by the Newcastle. It was near and close to the halfway line. They're now left with having to take a goal kick. That's why it should be the referee's decision.
That's right. If he'd given it back directly to the goalkeeper so the play was still moving, okay. But no, that's not good enough. And I don't wish to pick on Ashley Young. They all do it. Here's Guthrie, back to Barton, just ahead of the centre circle. On to Guthrie. Guthrie chips it in. Chance here. Header by Lovenkrantz, straight to the left of the goalkeeper Friedel, who makes an easy save.
What a chance! What a chance! Yeah. Friedel read where he was going to head it, where Lovenkrantz was going to head it, and saved comfortably. But I really thought that was going to be the equaliser.
Well, a yard either side of the goalkeeper it would have been. That was a big miss by Lovenkrands.
Definitely.
Good cross in for the header. High it goes towards Cucci. Cucci jumps with Collins. Cucci wins the ball. Plays it back to Gutierrez. Gutierrez onto Lovenkrands. Left of the penalty area. Brings the ball onto control. Back now to Enrique. Gutierrez available. Enrique maybe doesn't need him. Turns it onto his right foot. He crosses towards colleagues inside the penalty area, but it's a limp header there by Ryan Taylor, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Barton and Rio Coker. Barton yellow carded.
That was off the ball, was it?
Yeah. He sort of shoulder charged, put his shoulder into Rio Coker's chest for some reason. They're both having a go at one another.
Well, Barton's certainly been booked. Rio Coker, has he been booked? No, he hasn't. Well, Joey Barton, captain in the absence of Nolan. Not an obvious captain.
You've got the verbals going, the both of them now.
Goal kick. Just, after that, Rio Coker should keep his head. He doesn't want to be drawn into 5 minutes of added time. 5 minutes.
Now that is unusual, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's usually 3.
That's Fergie time, for goodness sake. Anyway, that's what we've got. And we're into the added time. So there's still hope for Newcastle. And they've got a throw in on the near side of the field, level with the edge of the Villa penalty. Throw goes back to Enrique, and then Enrique misread what Gutierrez was going to do and puts it out of play limply for another throw into Villa. 0500 909 693 is the number for 606, which will be coming up in 10 minutes time, if I can still read the time. Quella with the throw in for Aston Villa, launching it toward Darren Bent on the halfway line, headed on by the England striker, but only to Colaccini. And now it's hit upfield, and Cucci feeds it on. Actually hit Williamson. Williamson has abandoned his defensive work. It's back now to Enrique. Forward to Joey Barton. Enrique again. Enrique had too many Villa players in opposition, lost the ball, and now here's Robert Perez rushing over the halfway line. Darren Bent pointing where he wants it played. He's not in a position to receive it yet, and Perez isn't going to win anything. In fact, he concedes a throw-in.
He's bought some time out there, didn't he?
Yeah. Throw-in's already taken. Opportunities running out now for Newcastle. It's hit high towards Cucci once more. At least he's given Collins more of a problem than Ranger ever did in the air. Collins wins this header though. Ball back with Downey. Downey has retreated into a more defensive position. Plays the pass through the middle. Darren Bent inevitably offside.
It shouldn't be. It's a long pass, of course, but you've got time to read the line. I don't think you should be getting caught offside like that.
Here's Enrique from the resultant Newcastle free kick. Deep cross, looking for Cucci. Done with an awkward header. Ball's inside the penalty area, the Villa penalty area, and then it's hooked away by Ashley Young. Ashley Young's now back defending. Look, Young on the left side, Downing on the right. Of course, in their perilous situation, 3 points, you do anything, frankly.
Yeah.
Just to hang on.
Yeah, and the instructions from the touchline are telling them to do just that.
Gutierrez running infield. Finds Barton, forward to Lovenkrands, promising for Newcastle. Lovenkrands shoots low, great save by the foot of Friedel. With his left foot, he diverted the ball away from the goal, and it's cleared by Ashley Young.
Doesn't matter what part of the body you use, it was an excellent save by Friedel. Got his left foot to it, knocked it away. It would have been a definite equaliser by Newcastle.
Newcastle still on the attack though. Ball played in. Collins heads it clear. Colaccini wanted it more than the Villa player. Brought down by Quella. That's got to be a free kick. It's also booking for Quella. The referee was waiting to see if Newcastle got any advantage. They didn't. So rightly brings the ball back, and it's a free kick. Wow. Bit of panic here from Aston Villa. This is not the time to lose it, is it? With 90 seconds of added time remaining. Ryan Taylor, it looks as if he will take the free kick now. It's to the left of the D, so it's made for a right-footed shot. Newcastle have got 4 players 5 players, 6 players now inside the Villa penalty area. Villa with everybody back defending this free kick, facing it. So Taylor, it's around about 25 yards from goal, given the angle. Friedel staring into the remaining sunshine, and here comes Taylor. Taylor plays it just over the crossbar. It was dipping, didn't it, quickly enough.
Yeah, accuracy just out, wasn't it, really, over the bar. Pace right, part of the goal was right as well, just didn't get it to drop soon enough.
50 seconds of added time remaining. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0. Bit of a panic there for Aston Villa. But the Villa fans now responding. They know how important this win, these 3 points, will be for their team. Having been dropping down the Premier League table ominously. Newcastle, though, still search for an equaliser. Cuellar clears it. Enrique chests it down, then loses it to Darren Bent. Bent flicks it forward, but that's the final whistle from Stuart Atwell. And, points at this stage of the season in their perilous position are priceless for Aston Villa.
You can certainly see that. You see the reaction of the crowd here. So pleased for this win. And it is very, very important for Aston Villa, of course. Not a good game. Lacking a lot of quality. In the first half, it was very, very equal. Villa somewhat fortunate to do 1-0 up, but not a lot of shots at goal. But Villa, very, very pleased with this. Settles a few nerves, and people will be thinking that they are going to be safe. But one never knows. They're going to have to play better than this in their remaining games.
It would have been more difficult for Villa, Graham, had Newcastle anything in an attacking sense.
Definitely. Front two of Newcastle never gave a problem to the Villa. But at the end, Alan, being there, having been there myself, at the end, what matters most, the result.
And this is the result. Aston Villa 1, Newcastle United 0. So Villa up to 37 points. That's 5 points out of the drop zone. The lines are open for 606 0500 909 693. I'll not leave my seat, but Paul Scott in the meantime has the rest of the day's sports news.